Do the Dodgers have a secret ace? And which 13 pitchers will make their NLDS roster? That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout. And a happy Friday, Dodgers Nation. Doug McCain here. My friends call me D-Mac. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at DMac_LA. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel for all latest Dodgers news and rumors all season long. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And if you really want to support the channel, smash that like button. And congratulations to Kevin, the winner of the Mookie Betts Authentic Jersey, valued at over $350. And stay tuned for our next giveaway because we are just getting started, so be sure to subscribe to the channel to be a part of our giveaways. And as always, I'm looking for your takes down below in the comment section. Today's Dodgers Nation question of the day: on a scale of 1 to 10, how high are you on Emmet Sheehan? And also, which 13 pitchers do you think should make the Dodgers postseason roster for the NLDS? Remember, can always change every series, but which 13 Dodgers pitchers do you have on that NLDS roster? Let me know down below. And for all latest Dodgers news, head over to DodgersNation.com. So the Dodgers may have found themselves a new secret ace in Emmet Sheehan. No, I'm not talking about your prototypical ace, a guy that's going to take the ball and go 6 or 7 innings and take you deep into a game. I'm talking about a pitcher with ace-level stuff, and that's exactly what Emmet Sheehan has. And you saw that on display last night because he shoved against San Francisco. He ends up going 4 2/3 innings, didn't allow a hit, had 9 strikeouts. That's a new career high. Had a 33% called strike and whip percentage. Had 18 whiffs. He generated 18 swings and misses. That is a 42% whiff rate. Did have those 4 walks. You do want to see him continue to clean up that command, but that's all young pitchers, right? You're always trying to improve your command. But to me, it's the high points, the flashes last night that tell me that this is someone who 100% needs to be a part of this postseason roster. I think last night sealed the deal. I think he most likely was already a lock anyway, just because of the stuff he does have and what he showed against Seattle. But I think last night, it's an absolute lock. Emmet Sheehan is going to be a part of this Dodgers postseason pitching mix. And it's because of what you saw, because that 4-seam fastball, as Dave Roberts said after the game, is one of, if not the most explosive in the entire organization. And it counted for 4 punch-outs last night. And guess what? It was actually down from a velocity standpoint 1 mile per hour. Last night, he averaged 94.4 miles per hour on his heater. It topped out at 95.8. And you look at those numbers, you probably say to yourself, okay, that's not that hot, right? That's not that fast. The velocity isn't that high, but it's the movement. It's the run on it. It's the way that it plays. Look, when Emmet Sheehan had his rookie start, they were charting that as a sinker, right? They were, because of how the movement it had on. I mean, moves more than military family, as I like to say, right? So that is what's going to play up. And what you need to know is that he still has room for growth on that fastball. It can still get even better, and he can be more effective with it. And I think my big takeaways from last night in his start are, one, unlike Bobby Miller, who gets stronger as the game goes along, for Emmet Sheehan yesterday, the wheels started to fall off, right? He was looking for an Arco, looking for a Shell, looking for a 76 station to get some gas because he was running out of gas there late. And hey, that's what you want from a young pitcher, though. You want someone who's going to empty the tank each and every start to try to get better. And I think that that's how the Dodgers are going to use him. They're not asking for 5 innings from Emmet Sheehan. I mean, if he's efficient, fine, they'll run with it. But they're probably not going to ask for 4 innings, right? You want short bursts for Emmet Sheehan. You want him to go out there and try to dominate hitters like he did last night, and that's why I think he's going to be a part of this mix. Now, the second thing you need to know about his start last night was that, you know what, at this point, I think Max Muncy and Emmet Sheehan, they're co-owners of the San Francisco Giants. In his 2 starts against San Francisco, he's gone 10 2/3 innings and still hasn't given up a hit. In his rookie debut on June 16th, he went 6 innings, allowed no hits. If you remember that game, Mookie made a phenomenal defensive play in right field. Freddie Freeman made a great play in foul territory. Miguel Rojas made a great defensive plays. He had 3 strikeouts total, so the strikeout numbers weren't big like we saw last night. Tonight, though, 4 2/3 innings, 9 punch-outs, no hits. He's the only MLB pitcher in the modern era, rookie or not, to pitch 4+ innings and finish with no hits allowed in back-to-back starts against an opponent. That's from our friends over at OptaStats. So That is ridiculous dominance against that San Francisco Giants team. And the third thing you need to know about Emmet Sheehan is that he's becoming a 3-pitch pitcher at the big league level. He had 3 strikeouts via that slider. Last night you saw him 3 consecutive batters, uses that wicked movement, moves more than a military family, and you're seeing him continue to build confidence in that pitch at this level. And also the changeup. The changeup is a pitch that he's throwing with more regularity. You're seeing him increase the usage on it. And last night, if you go to that 5th inning, the at-bat to Sable, 9th pitch of the at-bat, that should have been a strike on the corner with that changeup. I don't know if the umpire is not a big fan of jumbo jacks, but that should have been the 10th strikeout of the night, and it would have ended the inning. And then if you look at the 4th inning, he allowed those walks, but still was able to get that double play, and that's because of the secondary stuff. So he's someone that's continuing to evolve. He's emerging, and I think he's really starting to peak at the right time in his rookie season. So I think for me, the biggest takeaway last night, though, is that mound presence. It's that confidence. It looks like he belongs out there. And to me, we saw that with Bobby Miller pretty much through his first start. But I'm almost seeing some Bobby Miller in Sheehan in the fact that, hey, I'm a big dude. I'm in the show. I'm ready for this. Last night after the game, he was asked about his role, and he says he's ready for whatever. And he's someone who's mature. He went to BC, Boston College. He went through the system, and he's got the stuff, and he knows that it plays at this level. And you just look at the velocity, like I said, it was a little down. It's only going to get better. The command, I think, is going to get better, and I think the sequencing is going to get better as well. Sheehan talked about how Will Smith was keeping him in the zone last night, and that's going to be key too. Just staying in the zone, trusting your secondary stuff in the strike zone is going to be key. I want to see him increase the trust on that changeup, almost start a little higher and allow it to tumble out of the zone. That's going to be a money pitch for him. So, yeah, I think if you look at the pitch count, a little on the higher side, so you want to increase the efficiency, but he's someone that is definitely on his way, and I think you got to be very excited about the progress that he's made. I mean, you're talking about someone with 9 punch-outs last night, last two outings, Seattle and San Francisco, goes 7 innings, allowed 1 hit, 13 strikeouts, no earned runs. So he's someone that is really figuring things out. The light has come all the way on for Emmet Sheehan. It was a little dim switch, and then boom, the light's on. He's ready to roll. And I think there's no doubt about it that he belongs on this Dodgers postseason roster, and he's someone that I think is built for this. Because guys on other teams, I don't think they're accustomed to him, right? You don't have that familiarity. He's pitched over 50 innings for the Dodgers this year. When you see a 4-seam fastball like that, that's going to open eyes. That's going to turn heads, and I can't wait to see him on the mound with that adrenaline in the postseason because, like I said, that velocity is actually to go up a little more. But we actually talked to him after the game in the Dodgers clubhouse, and here's what he had to say.
Thanks. Yeah, I think it's mostly just getting ahead early, and then knowing when to go for those chase pitches. Thought Will did a great job keeping me in the zone tonight, and getting ahead of guys is always better than not. So yeah, build confidence every start, but for sure the last 2 have been great, and that's helped me a lot, especially going into this one, having that last one against the Mariners, a really good team. So yeah, really important. I think whenever that's in zone or around the zone, that's always goes better for me, and keeps him off the fastball too, which allows me to use it later in counts, which is really important. So yeah, I mean, I definitely think time I had in AAA was valuable for keeping that mindset and getting back to where I was in AA before I came up the first time. And yeah, just staying on the attack and control was a lot better tonight, so it felt good.
So where do you think you fit into the October picture?
I have no idea. Not my decision.
What do you think you're ready for?
Anything they want me to do.
And then Dodgers manager Dave Roberts, he talked about what he liked about Sheehan's performance.
From pitch one, the conviction, the fastball had true life to it. All the secondaries, the slider, the changeup down below. I thought he and Will mixed really well tonight, and it just boils down to he had a really good fastball tonight. 7 out of the first 9 guys by way of strikeout, and then I think when he got to that 5th inning, there was a little bit of running low on the fuel in the tank. So I think a little bit of some close misses. Tried to get him through that last at bat. Then had to go to Brazier right there, but he pitched a heck of a ball.
When you talked recently just about your growing confidence in these rookies, but a performance like this, and even the one in Seattle, does this really kind of, when you think about what October the roster could look like, I mean, is he really making an made for himself in the conversation?
He is. He's right there in the conversation. You know, he does something different in the sense of he's just, you know, I think in the organization, he's probably got one of the first or second, you know, one of the top fastballs in our organization and on this team. And so it's just something different. He gets righties and lefties out, and so he's unique. And so to be able to run him out there anytime we want, and he's doing his part in kind of handling himself in big spots and big games against good opponents. And so, yeah, to your question, he's right there at the top of the conversation.
So Emmet Sheehan was fantastic, and here's a couple of things you want to look for in his remaining appearances down the stretch. One, the effectiveness of that changeup. We know he's got the four-seam fastball. We know he's got the movement on the slider, but he continues to use that changeup at an increased rate. He's also throwing it for a strike. In his last start, 60% of the time he threw that changeup in the zone. I think that is going to be the key to his success. Continuing to refine those secondary pitches, continuing to look at the efficiency and the soft contact. So going to go with the efficiency. That's number two. Then the soft contact. You saw in the fourth inning there, walked the first batter, was able to get that double play. That is going to be key, and just his overall confidence on the mound. I will say, it's unlikely, but if the Dodgers somehow, some way match up with the Giants there in the NLDS, I want Emmet Sheehan as my Game 1, Game 2, and Game 3 starters. I have no doubt it'll be a sweep, and he'll throw 3 no-hitters. But let's get into this postseason roster. I'm going to do a deeper dive in this a little later this weekend, but just to give you guys an update, stuff I heard, stuff I talked to people yesterday, this is who I really feel will end up making this postseason roster. And I think you start with the locks. I think the locks are as follows: Bobby Miller, Clayton Kershaw, Ryan Pepio, Emmet Sheehan after last night, lefty Ryan Yarbrough. I think you'll see him used in a multitude of different roles. We're going to see him in some piggyback starts. Then you'll see Ryan Brazier, Shelby Miller, Joe Kelly, and Brusdar Graterol. I think those are the locks. I think some of you may think that Joe Kelly isn't a lock. I'm telling you, you don't trade for Joe Kelly and then see him throwing 99 miles per hour with the swing and miss that he's had this year, the velocity he's thrown with. He's a lock to make that NLDS roster. Then after that, it'll be very interesting. You got 3 spots available. I think you got guys like Yency Almonte, Michael Grove, Lance Lynn, Alex Vesia, and Caleb Ferguson competing for those spots. And based on what I know, I think Caleb Ferguson is going to be on that postseason roster. I've seen some people debate that maybe he shouldn't be. They're going to want to use him as an opener. That's what you're going to see tonight, and I think that's the role he's going to have. And what that's going to allow their starters to do is it's going to prevent them from having to face the top of the lineup towards the end of their start, right, to the end of their appearance. So it's going to really make things better for everyone as a whole, because when you use an opener, you can go 2 or 2.5 times through the order. And if you use that opener, it's going to allow them to go against the bottom of the order, and that's the benefit of it. Your starter, instead of going the third time facing the top of the order, you're going to be facing the middle to the bottom. So it's like increasing your chance of getting 3 more outs without having to face the top of that order. So absolutely you're going to see that, and I think Caleb Ferguson is a guy they like in that situation, although he has given up some runs there, but still I think that is someone that's going to make this roster. And those last 2 spots, Lance Lynn, Alex Vesia, Yency Almonte, Michael Grove. Who's going to take it? I think that spot goes to Lance Lynn. I truly believe that they need another veteran, someone that maybe if you pitch him at home, maybe if you find a way to get him to hit his spots more. I mean, prevent those home runs and try to keep the ball in the yard. I think the key for him is keeping it down, hitting the edges. And he's someone that, look, he's gritty. He's been in these situations before. I would not be shocked to see Lance Lynn put it all together for one start, for one appearance in the NLDS. I still think that he's someone they traded for. Even though you have some arms that are a little more live than his at this stage of his career, I think he ends up on that postseason roster. And then that leaves us with one more spot on the Dodgers NLDS roster for pitchers. Now, who's that going to go to? Is it going to be lefty Alex Vesia? Is it going to be Yency Almonte, who was outstanding last year in the regular season? This year, he hasn't looked good. A 5.06 ERA, a 4.60 FIP, 23.6 strikeout rate, an 11.5 walk rate. He hasn't pitched since August 11th. He's been on the IL with that MCL injury. He was really good in the regular season last year, but Game 4 of the NLDS, He gives up that double to Hassan Kim. Not great defense there by Max Muncy. He did miss a call there by the ump, but you see someone that has proved enough to say, okay, he's missed that much time. He's a lock to make this postseason roster. I'd say no. Yency Almonte, I call him Yency Almonte, but I don't think he makes that postseason roster. And then there's Michael Grove, who, yes, we've seen the success that he hasn't had this year as a starter, an ERA over 6, but he did have a little success out of the bullpen. And you're talking about someone, if you want to talk about a live arm, if you want to talk about pure stuff, 98-mile-per-hour fastball, 12-6 curveball, did add that cutter that he had success with against lefties, but he's missed significant time. We'll see if he returns. I think that's going to be the big question. Does he get activated this weekend and pitch? Because he's down in AAA working with OKC, and he's making appearances there. So I do think there's an outside chance that he makes it. If he looks electric, if barring an injury, I mean, he's someone that would be in the mix and under consideration for those final spots. Yency Almonte, look, Dave Roberts said a few days ago, it's a longer shot for the regular season. It's possible, but there's still a lot of baseball to be played, talking about the postseason. So I think the main thing for Yency is just trying to get healthy, and then when he's healthy and feels like he can get major league hitters out, we'll just kind of see and hope the timeline fits for him. So that to me is him saying, yeah, there's a small chance he makes it on the NLDS roster, but he's someone with how things go. Maybe you see him in the NLCS. And then you've got a Gavin Stone. Gavin Stone looked a lot better of late. He's someone who had a really rough go with to start the year, but you've seen him improve. And then we'll see what happens with Kyle Hurt, who had flashed a very high level potential, but it was in a low leverage situation against the Padres team. Yes, he did get Tatis and Soto Machado out, and he struck out the side in the ninth inning. He was very efficient through 24 pitches, 19 for strikes, was working in the zone as a strikeout rate north of 39%, highest at the minor league level. But I do think even though Dave Roberts, even though Andrew Freeman have hinted at the possibility of going with the youth movement, going with the live arms instead of the experienced guys, I think that's a call where they think that, yeah, we're probably going to go with an Alex Vesia. I think Alex Vesia, I personally don't know if I would go with Vesia. I think the number that scares me, this will probably keep you up at night when you wake up at 3:30 in the morning tomorrow in a cold sweat, you're going to be thinking of this because in low leverage situations, he's had success. Opponents are hitting 193. In high leverage situations, though, opponents are slashing 381, 469, 548 with an OPS of 1,017. He's allowed 2 home runs and a double, 16 hits in those situations. And that's all it takes in a series, in a game. If he goes out there, doesn't have the command, if he's erratic, if he's missing arm side with that fastball, and he's not able to command it up in the zone and not work that slider on the inner half on the inside corner, back footed to righties, it's tough to see him having success, but he has had a much better second half. I will give Alex Vesia that because on the whole, a 4.6 ERA for the year, but in the second half of the season, in the last 31 games, has a 2.48 ERA. Last 15 games, a 1.76 ERA. Did hit stumble against Seattle, allowed those 2 hits, got the strikeout before Ryan Brazier had to come in and clean things up. And then last night, he wasn't great. So, yeah, I just think that they feel like they might want another lefty, that they think that his stuff, it has life, it has that late movement to it. So maybe they feel like they want Alex Vesia. I am concerned about, one, his ability to execute pitches with the pitch clock in the postseason, because it's basically taken an entire season to adjust to the pitch clock in the regular season. Now you have to adjust to postseason adrenaline, going out there, trying to keep that heart rate down when you're trying to execute pitches and you're doing your walk around the mound. I think he's going to really struggle at the beginning with that, but still, I think that he's probably going to end up on this postseason roster. As of right now, that is what I have heard. So ideally, we get an electric Alex Vesia because he does have ceiling. When Alex Vesia is right, he can be explosive. He can be a dominant pitcher that is fantastic in certain situations. It's just he's been so inconsistent at times, but for the most part in the second half of the season, he has been good. Just some of those high leverage situations. So I think those are going to be your 13 pitchers on the NLDS roster as of right now. Let me say it again. Clayton Kershaw, by the way, I'm not going to say Bob Miller first. As long as 22 is in that dugout, he is my ace. Okay, it's like what Walker Buehler said. So I'm going with Clayton Kershaw for this list, but I think game 1 Starter is going to be Bobby Miller. So you got Kershaw, Miller, that's 2. 3, Ryan Pepio. 4, Emmet Sheehan. 5, Ryan Yarbrough. 6, Evan Phillips. 7, Ryan Brazier. 8, Shelby Miller. 9, Joe Kelly. 10, Brusdar Gratterall. 11, Caleb Ferguson. 12, Lance Lynn. And then 13, Alex Vesia. So I think those will be your 13 pitchers. Do you agree with that? Do you think they should go with other guys? I'm assuming you probably want to see someone else in there other than Alex Vesia, but let me know down below. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMAC_LA. For all things Dodger baseball, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button, and be sure to be a subscriber that's a public subscriber. Have those notifications on so you can qualify for our giveaways. We're not doing hats and whatever. We're giving away expensive prizes. We're talking autographs, authentic jerseys. You know, I'm only going to give the best for you guys because you guys are the best in the game. But that's going to do it. My name is Doug McCain. Like I said, you can follow me at DMAC_LA. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.